If you die, are your debts forgiven? The short answer is possibly. The longer answer is a lot more interesting. Hello and welcome once again to the Peter Billigus channel, where we always, hopefully, make finance fun. Today I am answering another unusual financial question about what happens to your debts when you die. Do they just go away? Does your family have to pay them? Well, some debts might go away. But yes, there could be some debts that family members have to pay. Yeah, stay tuned. We'll get to those. So what happens when you die? Well, I've never died, so I don't know. I'm told there's a tunnel, a bright white light. I've also heard that if you smell smoke and see a guy with a pitchfork, it's going to be a long afterlife. But financially speaking, when you die, you leave behind your estate. Now, when I say the word estate, people think that they need to live in a house like this to have an estate. But in financial terms, your estate is just a collection of everything that you own and everything that you owe. And that's everything from your car to your house, to your bicycle, to your clothes, to your doomsday machine. What'd you pay for that? Your estate is managed by your executor, which is a person you appoint in your will to handle your affairs after you die. A will, remember, is a legal document outlining how you want the executor to distribute the items in your estate. The people that get the items in your estate are called your heirs. Now, it's important to keep in mind an heir is not necessarily a family member. It could be a friend or it could be a charity. Hotel magnate Leona Helmsley left $12 million to her dog. So there's that. Now, regardless of what your will says, there are certain things that the executor has to do. They have to pay unpaid taxes and they have to pay your creditors. If, for example, you own a car with a $5,000 loan, the executor will ask your heirs if they want to pay off the loan, and if not, the executor will sell the car and use that money to pay off the car loan. Now imagine you have a car worth $20,000 with no loan, but you had $10,000 worth of credit card debt. In this case, the executor will ask the heirs if anyone wants to pay off the credit card debt and keep the car, or if the executor should just sell the car to pay the credit card debt. The point is, the executor must pay the creditors first before distributing money to the heirs. But what if there is more debt than there are items to sell? Do the heirs have to pay those debts? I know some people are worried. Some people are wondering, if my spouse dies, do I have to pay all her debts? Because if so, things aren't looking so good. I'll lose everything, and the only thing I will be able to afford is a tattoo across my chest that reads, "So you're telling me the Eagles couldn't have just carried Frodo and Sam to Mordor?" Seriously? Does your spouse or your heirs have to pay your debts when you die? Well, the answer is it depends. If you co-signed on any loan, then you will have to pay even if the other person passes away. Often married couples co-sign on home loans, car loans, and sometimes they have joint credit cards. Even though you both signed, that doesn't mean that you're only responsible for your half. You are both responsible for all of it. The legal term to look for is jointly and severally liable. Also, if you are married and you live in Arizona, California, Idaho, Louisiana, Nevada, New Mexico, Texas, Washington, or Wisconsin, well, these states are known as community property states, where it is legally possible that you could be responsible for any debt that your spouse took on during the marriage. Normally, that deals with student loans. If you live in one of these states and your spouse has passed away, it's probably best to talk to a lawyer to see what you owe and what you don't owe. And if that's your lawyer, I would probably talk to another lawyer. Right. His brother. Now, a quick side note. I am not bashing community property states. They have some financial advantages, not just disadvantages. It's just important to know because much of this is governed by state law. The next one, even I didn't know until I researched this. There is something known as filial responsibility. About 30 states have this law, which basically means that you could be responsible for the medical bills of your deceased parents. Now, these laws are rarely enforced, but it's important to know about this possibility. This is one reason why life insurance or long-term care insurance is so important. Now, if you don't have any kids, one way to dump your medical bills onto someone else is to just say this. Don't believe that will work? Why do you think Luke lives in this crappy hut? His medical bills cleaned him out. Very sad. Next up, timeshares. Sadly, many timeshare contracts include what is known as a perpetuity clause, which means that your heirs have to keep paying those costs even after you pass away. So just be aware of that. It's also possible your estate may have to pay any money that you receive for Medicaid. But here's the good news. Federal student loans are forgiven upon death. Woohoo! So to review, these are some of the debts that your heirs could be responsible for if there is not enough money in your estate when you die. Cosign debt, community property state debt, possible medical bills, timeshares. I still don't get that one. Government debts like taxes, maybe Medicaid. But here's some more good news. Some money that your heirs inherit cannot be touched regardless of what kind of debt you have. The proceeds of a life insurance policy are untouchable. It's also very hard for any creditor to get money out of your retirement account. And remember, many people believe they don't have any life insurance, but they might still have a policy through their employer's health insurance plan. What's more, a person may not have a lot of investments, but they do have a lot of stuff. Cars, computers, jewelry. Often these items can be sold to pay some or all of the debts. So what's my advice? Well, it's important for families to talk about their finances. Finance is a bit like sex in that aspect. We all know what's going on, but we can't talk about it. It needs to be okay to talk bluntly about family finances. Parents need to know if their adult children have life insurance. If they don't and someone dies, the parents are the ones who jump in and save the day. But children also need to know if their aging parents have either long-term care insurance or life insurance. If they don't and someone dies, it may be the children who jump in and save the day. And when I say jump in, I don't mean anyone actually parachutes in. If you are watching this show and you are not stranded on a desert island, please be sure to hit the like button and subscribe. And if you have a question I should answer, please let me know in the comments below. I'm Peter Billigus, and thanks for watching.